Welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sara Gonzales. Happy Friday. We have a very special guest with us today, Mr. Will Witt from Prager University.
Woo.
Yay!
Thank you. What's up, guys?
Thank you for being here. I have to say, I didn't tell you this off air. I'm a big fan of your videos.
Oh, thank you so
much.
much.
I love them. They're great.
I appreciate that.
We've played them many times on the show, so we're really excited that you're here.
Thank you. Yeah, the Blaze always picks up my videos, so it's fantastic. Thank you.
I mean, we have good taste, so.
Yes, you do.
All right, Stu, top story.
You'd be shocked to hear this, but the left is coming for the Constitution through a back door. We'll go over that.
No.
Stunning, I know. Stunning development.
Pat.
Good news, though. The ISIS bride may be returning home.
Ooh.
So we got fingers crossed, everybody.
Save the date.
Yeah, yeah.
Will.
Yeah, Dean at a university in New Jersey is resigning over a controversial pick on a new restaurant.
Oh, can't wait to get into that. A lot to get into, but first we want to thank our sponsor, Relief Factor. So I was in a car wreck in 2013, and I know what it's like to just live in constant pain. It messed up my back, it messed up my knee, and I know, Stu, you said that statistic of people who just live in constant pain and don't do anything about it.
Yeah, like I think it's 2/3 of people who have pain like every day have just basically given up, and they don't even bother taking medicine or going to the doctors anymore. They just think this is my life and this is where I am until the end of it.
That's the most depressing thing ever. Because I mean I know from personal experience it affects every facet of your life when you're in pain. You're mad all the time. You're grumpy. You're not fun to be around. Your wife kicks you out and you sleep on the couch. So you don't have to live that way. Relief Factor, it's 100% natural. It's of course drug-free. If nothing is doing the trick and you are in pain, try it. It attacks the inflammation in your body, which is most often the root cause of your pain. So you can go to relieffactor.com. Try the 3-week quick start pack. It's $19.95. 70% of the people who try it go on to keep buying it. It's working for the majority of people. It can work for you. Go to relieffactor.com or you can call 800-500-8384. All right, Stu.
After the 2016 election, I did like a little piece about things we learned from the election and what's coming next. And Pat, if I remember right, we got everything right about the 2016 election. Right?
I think it was deadly accurate.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we nailed it. But one thing I actually do remember getting right was one of the first things the left is going to do is come after the Electoral College, because now they've lost 2 of the last 5 elections for the president where they've won the popular vote and lost the Electoral College. So this is going to be a big thing for them. And it's true. In fact, when they got the House, it was the first thing they put on the table was to get rid of the Electoral College. And it's a tough argument because I think to the average person who doesn't look at this stuff and maybe doesn't watch The Blaze or go to Prager University, who has a great video, by the way, on the Electoral College.
I'll tell you, I think this is so important because that's our most popular video.
Is it really?
Yeah, it has 54 million views, something close to that.
Wow.
On the Electoral College, and it's like, that was right after the election, after 2016. The left is pushing for this, and we shared that video and it went mad viral.
That's interesting.
Such an important
I wouldn't have guessed that would be number 1, but that's
no one guessed it.
Yeah,
at all,
that's
right?
interesting.
Like we made it before, which was also crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And then just reposted it.
Well, so it's an important thing, and the video goes through it, and we've talked about these things as well, where one of the first election fraud is very difficult to pull off when you have an electoral college where if it's a national popular vote, you can go to very one-sided areas and throw and steal votes and things like that. Also, I mean, I think the Democrats really want it because all of their voters are all together, right? Like for them to campaign across the country to just maximize their vote is easy. They go to cities and everybody's there. Much more difficult for Republicans, and it's why there's different approaches. And the founders were really freaking smart on this one. I mean, they really nailed it as a way for why would you care about Montana? Why would you care about these small states if it's a national popular vote? So you have that as the lead up here, and I think that's. It's a nuanced argument for people to understand. It takes 5 minutes of a PragerU video to actually understand what's going on, and most people don't spend that much time. Then they also see the Republican president of the United States saying, what we need is a national popular vote. So Trump is on board with this. The Democrats are on board with this. So it's something that could theoretically happen, though the road there is quite difficult because you have to amend the Constitution to do it. Unless you're Democrats, because they've come up with a brilliant new way to be able to go around the Constitution and get this put in. And it's a really interesting approach, actually, really interesting. Basically, what they have decided is to create a pact among states. So states go through and each legislature passes this pact. I believe they are up to 14 states. It's 11 or 14, I can't remember for some reason. But
I think I read 11.
11 states, I think 3 more are on the verge of doing it. And basically the idea is they keep adding up electoral votes until they can get to 270 states that agree to or 270 electoral votes that agree to this pact. 270, of course, gives you the presidency. Now the Constitution says that you can, as a state, give out your electoral votes however you want. It doesn't have to be who wins the election in your state, which is really kind of bizarre, but true. And it makes sense in federalism, and they're able to do it however they want. And you see this in different states, like Maine splits them up. So each congressional district gives out an electoral vote instead of the winner of the whole state. Long story short here is if they can get over 270 electoral votes, the pact means that all those states, no matter what happens in their state, just vote for the winner of the national vote, the national popular vote. So they will all combine forces, essentially, and all vote for whatever candidate wins the national popular vote instead of their state. So imagine that you're in a state where your state voted for candidate A, but your electoral votes go to candidate B because they've signed on to this pact. It's an interesting thing. Now, it's difficult to do. They're up to, I think, with 11 states, they've had a couple big ones like California. They have to start going now they have 3 more easy Democratic states where they can get this over the line. But this still leaves them, I think, at about 210, 215 electoral votes that they're up to once they get that done. Once it gets up to 270, there are some legal challenges there about how this would work exactly. I'm sure, obviously, Republicans would fight it. But it's not impossible. When you have the entire Democrats, the left at least, I think there's Democrats there. We pointed out this on the radio show today. There's a difference between the Democrat or a liberal and the leftist. Right. But the leftists really want this because it kind of turns you into a straight democracy. With Trump is also arguing for it. And when Trump argues for this, I don't know if people have noticed, Republicans tend to agree with kind of whatever he says. So it is it's a low percentage thing here, I think, for it to happen, but it's dangerous, and I think it's actually possible.
Wow. I mean, that's bad. But they're becoming really adept at skirting the Constitution to make constitutional changes without going after a constitutional amendment. It's like, hey, you know what we could do? We're all about the Second Amendment. Let's make it illegal to manufacture bullets. That'd be great, right?
Yeah.
How about if you can't manufacture a gun? But we love the Second Amendment.
You have a right to own it. You just don't have a right to build it.
Right. So this is kind of that, right? They're kind of doing a backdoor around the Constitution. And if they had to do it in a constitutional way, it would be virtually impossible. It would really be impossible.
3/4 of the states.
I mean, you can, but you've got to get all of the 3/4 of the American people on board with it. That's really hard to do. And this is a critical issue, too. This will completely change the electoral process for presidency. It's a really bad thing. And again, the small states, Delaware won't matter, Vermont won't matter, Montana won't matter, Wyoming, are you going to go to Casper, Wyoming in the wintertime and campaign? I'm not. not when I can camp out in Los Angeles and New York and win the election. It's outrageous.
Will, you want to weigh in?
I think that I think about the horrible circumstances if Hillary would have won the presidency in 2016, and it's like if she would have won the Electoral College and lost the popular vote, there would be no leftists complaining about this right now, right? It's like they come out when they lose because they're sore losers. The left are sore losers, and so this is why they're coming out now and saying something about it.
Yes, if it would have been Hillary that won the electoral vote and Trump won the popular, they'd be fine with that.
They would say the Electoral College is the best thing ever.
The founders were so wise.
It's such short-term thinking. I mean, the next election, the same thing could happen to you. I mean,
it could just flip.
Yeah, there you go.
And then they're like, oh, well, actually, the Electoral College is great. They'll flip it right after and try and just redo everything.
That's amazing. That's why, of course, the Constitution is there to keep the principles in place, even though the political winds blow back and forth. And that's why going around the Constitution is such a negative thing. I mean, I'm hoping that if they got to 270, which is, again, difficult but not impossible. You'd have to get all the blue states. You have to get a bunch of purple ones, too, a couple big purple ones. But if it were to happen, there would be legal challenges. I don't know, though. I mean, the Constitution says both things, right? It says Electoral College, but it also says that the states get to allot them however they want. So, I mean, it's up for debate. I don't know how it would come out.
Yeah, but the left doesn't know the Constitution.
That's
why they
That's
have
very
these sorts
true.
of resolutions that they put forward, and they don't understand American history and why our country was founded the way that it is. They don't understand that we're a constitutional republic.
Yeah.
And so that's why they push for these things. They don't understand.
And it's another good indication of why it's so difficult to amend the Constitution. It's supposed to be, because the Constitution was a fairly decent document.
They did a good job.
Okay.
Okay. It wasn't like they said, hey, let's go to Twitter and pick out some ideas and put them down on paper, and we'll just go by that.
Yeah.
This isn't Iceland. We didn't do that.
Yeah.
It was an incredible process.
More Godfather than Godfather 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Pat, I want to move on to you said the ISIS bride might be coming home?
Yeah, she wants to desperately. And I mean, after all, she's just a traitor to the nation. Why not? Come back home. We all believe in second chances, don't we? So this is a woman that when she was 19, she joined the jihad, went to Syria. She has since married 3 jihadis. I think the first 2 husbands, and maybe even the third, all died in the war.
That's tragic.
Yeah, in Syria. We lost them.
We lost. You could have broke that to us a little.
I know. Well, they're not feeling very good right now. They got bullets
Oh, no.
in their head.
That's terrible. Terrible news.
So, yeah, we lost them. I'm sorry, Stu. It probably went a little fast that time.
Yeah,
didn't
it did.
But now, so she's done with her husband. She ran out of jihadi husbands, and now she wants to come back home to the United States. And she says she has every right to. And I agree. I think she should have the right to come back here and stand trial for treason and be executed for her crimes. Some of the things that she said are seriously unbelievable. She was encouraging people to go on drive-bys and kill all the infidels, kill all Americans. She talked about what cowards Americans are, what cowards our troops are, how we all deserve to die. This is a woman who has given aid and comfort to the enemy. This is the woman who has fought against the United States of America, and now she's saying she has a right to return. Her parents, I believe, were Yemeni diplomats.
Yep.
And she was born here, so obviously, if you interpret the 14th Amendment that way, and many do, she's a citizen. So she apparently legally has the right to come back. But when did we and why did we stop putting people on trial for treason?
Why have the law if you're not going to ever use it, even in a case like this?
It is the one crime and punishment called for in the Constitution. I mean, this is that serious. George Washington hung people out on the lawn in front of everybody in public when they were traitors. And we've lost not just that, but we've lost even putting people on trial for it. We don't even charge anybody
The
with
left
that anymore.
are traitors to America already. The left doesn't love America. So when people are traitorous to America now, it's not a huge concern of them to try and
Very true.
prosecute someone. They have other things they're worried about, like the Electoral College and everything. So
I mean, and I would wonder, as left-leaning as the court system has gotten, if she would even, I mean, it's not you would think that it's a slam dunk.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. She's admitted it, right?
Well, right. So, you would think that it was a slam dunk, but I feel like we've seen crazier things happen here.
Yeah.
We have.
in this court system. Then it kind of worries me. Like, yeah, but if we bring her back,
Come back and be hosting a show on HGTV in 2 weeks.
Yes.
I'm not surprised at all.
Exactly.
It's that crazy.
And she claims that she was just going through a phase.
Yeah.
How many of us didn't go through our
Who among
traitorous
us?
phase?
It's all happened to all of us.
I was
Weren't you
emo
a
for a
jihadi
bit.
about 8 months or so for a while?
I was experimenting.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
It
You
all
go to
happens to all
college,
of
you
us.
experiment.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think, and this is the same bride, I believe. She described her experience, which was, of course, everyone goes there like, the internet sucks. There's always these types of things that the ISIS brides all say, which is like, it wasn't quite as nice as I imagined it, which is bizarre.
I thought it was going to be fun.
Yeah,
in
exactly,
Syria.
and they really do say that. It's like, I don't know how you got that impression, but okay. The other part that this particular bride, though, said is when she got there and they started doing these, executions of people, innocent people,
cutting people's heads off.
Cutting people's heads off. She said it hit her differently than when she watched the videos on YouTube. Like she actually saw the beheadings. It was like, I want to go there, but it was so much different live. it's just like a good concert.
Well, you're not denying
It's
that
not
when
the
you,
same.
Yeah, it's
when
not
you go to
the
an
same.
execution, a beheading in person, it's a
It
little
is different.
stronger than on the internet, right?
It's like 3D. You get the blood on you and everything. It's much different.
Gotta take a break.
Like those little Gallagher concerts where they're hitting the melons and they're going into the front row. It's like
feels a
that.
little
You get
different when the blood
splatters
splattering.
right in your face. Yeah.
All right, before we get to the universities, I want to make sure to thank our sponsor, Mercury Real Estate. So apparently, call me crazy, but apparently the best course of action if you want to find a good real estate agent is not to use Google or see the guy with the billboard and the smiling face.
Yeah. They always have the same poses. All the real estate agents on the billboards and the bus.
It's real estate agents and lawyers.
Lawyers.
I feel, right? That's not really,
Saul
turns
Goodman.
out,
Yeah,
the way to find a good real estate agent.
Yeah, no, it's true. Realestateagentsitrust.com is a great place to go. A guy who's a listener of the show, been listening since the Tampa days, he wrote in the other day and he said, you guys always talk about when you're selling a house with Mercury Real Estate, or realestateagentsitrust.com is the website. It's a great place to go. You're going to get best agents. He's like, what about people who are buying and moving across the country? I mean, people are taking new jobs. You're going to a place where you have no family, no friends, no recommendations.
Also, you've got to do both parts of that process.
Yeah.
You got to sell and buy.
And buy, yeah. So, you go there, especially when you're going to an area where you don't have recommendations from friends because you're just moving to a new place. It's a great place to go.
Yeah, so Glenn and his team, they have vetted all of these real estate agents. So they've done the work, so you don't have to.
Plus, they're fans of the show.
They are. They
So you
share
have
your
that
values.
in common.
Yeah. And that's important, again, when we're talking about moving to a new area. You want to make sure that the real estate agent knows your values. They know where you're going to be best off. So you can go to realestateagentsitrust.com right now, enter your information, and they will find you a real estate agent in your area.
I should also point out this is totally different than Robert Kraft's masseusezitrust.com. That is a different website.
It is?
It has nothing to do
Oh, I thought they were
Nothing.
affiliated. No.
they're not affiliated.
Pat.
Is it also true that only realtors can be members of the National Association of Realtors?
You heard that too.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, Will, your top story.
So this is really interesting.
Controversial restaurant, you said?
Yes. Apparently controversial, according to the left. I actually spoke at this university. I'm on tour right now, and so just a few days ago, I was in New Jersey, and I spoke at Rider University, where a dean of the university has just resigned because they were going to put Chick-fil-A at the restaurant.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody, I actually don't like Chick-fil-A that much. I'm gonna be honest. Well,
What?
Even the waffle fries?
Okay, that's actually, this is controversial
Yeah,
now.
this is the top news story. No, why would you put pickles on a sandwich? I don't understand that.
It works.
I hate that too.
Yeah,
You
it's-
just tell them to hold the pickle.
That's a good.
It's a complicated process, but you can tell them that.
And
Regardless
they will
of-
say my pleasure when you say they will say
My pleasure. Yeah, exactly. But regardless of my opinion on Chick-fil-A and their pickles, the students wanted to put a Chick-fil-A in, but the administration wouldn't put the Chick-fil-A in because of their anti-LGBT
Their
values.
hateful,
Their
bigoted
hateful values, right? And so one of the deans, her name is escaping me right now, but I got to meet her when I went and gave a speech there. Wonderful lady, and she has resigned from her position because of the school's position on getting rid of Chick-fil-A or not letting Chick-fil-A come to campus.
Wow.
Incredible principled position. She
No,
took.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, it was
What I
great.
find is so great is that just like I do these videos about cultural appropriation and stuff, and I ask people you'll find that people get offended, but the people who are actually are affected by these issues aren't offended, right? When I dressed up as a Mexican and did that and asked Mexicans versus college students.
I actually was offended as a Mexican. That's very
Gracias. But and so it's like you're not going to go to this campus and talk to LGBT students and say, "Do you guys want a Chick-fil-A here?" They're going to be like, "Yes, I love Chick-fil-A. Put a Chick-fil-A on campus." They don't care about Chick-fil-A's any of this, right? But the administration, who wants to virtue signal and make it seem like they really care about these people, are going to say no Chick-fil-A, and it's just another way as well for the left to be anti-God at universities.
It's just so crazy to me how far we've gone with the whole Chick-fil-A thing. When if you look back at it, it's like it's nothing.
What do they do? They decided they're a private company that decided this is a company that closes every Sunday.
Yeah.
Believe me, my kids would be there. They ask for Chick-fil-A all the time, and a lot of times
My
it's on
son,
Sunday.
isn't it?
It seems like
always
it's
on Sunday.
No, they're closed. It's the one time you can actually fit in the parking lot, though, because the line is
kidding.
so long.
I just did this. I went through this the other day. I was on the way back. I had to go to a doctor appointment. I was on the way back here. And I thought, all right, it's 11:15. Nobody's at Chick-fil-A. the line at the dual, they have the double lanes now at the drive-thru. It stretched about 6 blocks beyond the Chick-fil-A. It was unbelievable.
All those people saying no pickles on my sandwich.
All
Just
of them.
amazing.
Yes.
I know.
And we do hate your stand on LGBTQIA.
But chicken too
But I like
tasty.
your chicken. It's
Chicken
too
too
tasty.
tasty.
And the chicken's too good.
I mean, but it's just, they latch on to this because the CEO? Because the CEO believes in biblical principles and biblical values, the entire organization stands for hate.
Right.
It's just like the mental gymnastics you have to do to get to that.
And the thing is, they didn't even say anything against gays or lesbians, or they just supported traditional marriage.
Right.
That was their stance. They were supporting something positive, and instead it's turned into they hate everybody in the LGBTQIA2 plus community.
Well, Christians are all about love and about forgiveness, right?
Yes.
And the fact that the left can label this as hate just shows how far they've gone on this whole issue.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of that, where is it? There is a transgender cycling champion who made a very interesting statement about excluding trans women from women's sports. If we could pull that up, it is. Do we have it? Okay, cool. So we don't have to tweet apparently.
I'll make it up.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear what your thoughts are about what they said.
Okay, well, so she said excluding trans women from women's sports is like excluding black women from women's sports.
No. No, it is not.
Not at all.
No, it is.
What?
No, it's
Why would you
nothing
say
like
that, Pat?
That's kind of a racist thing to say, is it not? I mean, but it's okay for the trans people now for some reason. They're exempt from the rest of the society's standards, and they can go after these women who are, and in a lot of cases like Martina Navratilova, they're lesbian women who are pioneers and groundbreakers in LGBTQ rights, and they can kick them out of their organizations because they spoke up. It's unbelievable. It is really amazing.
Will, do you think that the intersectionality groups are just eventually going to come to the place where they just all implode each other?
I think it's already getting to a place where implodes. I mean, look at they had the MMA fighter, right? Who was a transgender, and it just beat the crap out of all of these women.
Yeah.
Right?
Crushed your skull.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, how is that something that's allowed? And the left is still pushing for this. All of the intersectionality and the oppression Olympics that these people are playing are eventually going to crumble all over each other.
Amazing too, in the middle of Me Too and every, like Ray Rice in the elevator and all these terrible things that they would be like, what the smart thing to do is like, let's put men in a ring with women and have them beat the crap out of them. That'll be something that's really nice. And that's an amazing. That's not the view of someone who is Satan.
Right.
Right. That's and they continue to defend it though. They continue to defend it.
I do think there is an uprising quietly trickling in of, like you've got the females who are getting beat and losing championships, and they're
And it's coming
out.
from them.
The sports part is a fun part of this because it's like it's so clear and it's screwing women. Like women are the ones who are the victims here.
And you had Title IX that specifically was protecting women in women's sports and made that delineation between, okay, you must have women doing women's sports and you must have them in equal measure to the men. And now you're allowing men into the women's sports? It doesn't make any sense.
The left doesn't consider them men. They don't understand the biology. They
Because
consider
in their
them
head,
women.
they're not.
Right. They had I think this just happened yesterday, if I'm correct, but there was the guy, the deadlifter, right? And he went and identified as a woman for the competition, and then afterwards identified as a man again, just like trolling. It was like
that's actually funny. I just think it's really funny. I think that one should just keep happening. They should just keep doing that. 'Cause at some
That's how
point-
it'll bring it down,
Yeah.
if that does.
Right.
All right, back in a minute.
Seriously, that's the only way.
It sucks though for women. You lose a scholarship for not winning.
Before we go into overtime, Will, can you tell everyone where they can find you?
So you can find me on social media at the Will Witt. Okay, the only one, the
like
Will Witt.
like the Ohio State University.
Yes, exactly. It's the Will Witt. You can find me there, and you can also watch all my videos at PragerU.com. Go to the Man on the Street section or the bonus content section. You can find them all there.
What's one of your latest videos?
So the latest one that I did, I was actually in DC. This was for CPAC. I was speaking out there. And I went there in DC and I asked people American history trivia. And it was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing because I was able to get someone, I said, who's your favorite president? She said, Andrew Jackson. And I said, "Oh, you like the Trail of Tears?" And she said, "Yeah." And I could not stop laughing out loud in the video. I usually keep a good composure, but that I couldn't stop. It was incredible. So.